Welcome to lecture 33, file handling. So, in the last lecture we had seen how to read and write right from the file, right, how to write in the file and how to read from a file. So, in today's lecture I will start with how to do appending to a file in C++. Okay. So, assume that you have a text file, let us say example.txt, and from there how we are going to append. Assume that there are 3 or 4 lines are there, and then here what we are doing, we are appending one line, right, appended line. Let us see how it works. All right. So, you have file stream, include file stream, f stream, and then my file is an object under output file stream, OF stream, and my file dot open. All right, my file dot open. So, that means we are going to append in example.txt. So, that is the meaning over here. So, my file is invoking the open member function, right, and then we are going to do the appending operation in example.txt. So, now as I said is open, if you look at the start of the slide. So, is open is a member function or a method. So, that will be checking whether the file has been successfully opened or not, right. So, if it is open, so then the program will proceed. Otherwise, what you can do, you can use a try throw catch, right, if suppose you are not able to open it, right. So, now it is very trivial, we have seen in the last lecture and last 2 lectures in fact several try throw catch options. In fact, we will study in today's lecture also. So, now if you look, if my file which is invoking is underscore open member function, right, if it is successful, then it will print, right, in that file it will print my file, right. So, that will print appended a line. So, let us assume we have 3-4 lines already there. So, let us see with an example, right, we will go to the program and we will check after appended line. So, let us see what will happen. So, then you have to close the file, my file will invoke close. So, it will be closed. So, after appending this particular, right, or you can use whatever you want, right, appended line and then new line. In fact, the cursor will go to the next line and then you will see when you open the file now example.txt. So, you will see the appended line. So, now let us go to the program. So, append.cpp, yes. So, here we have example underscore cpp.txt. Let us open that file. Let us open the file and see what is the content, example underscore cpp.txt, right. So, we have appended line, appended, maybe we will write something else, all right. One is appended line, second line we will put welcome to file handling, welcome to, and next line welcome to IITR, right. So, now we will save this file and what we can do in the program, we have new appended line, yes, that is good. So, line number 7. So, now we will run the code. Now, if when you run the code, right, so it is successfully running. Now, we can open that file. So, when you open the file, so previously we had only 3 lines, now you can see the 4th line also, right. So, like this you can append the new line, right. So, you can append the new line. I hope it is clear for everyone. So, in the case of Java, same program if you do it in Java. So, here I have used with the IO exception, right. So, you have IO file writer. So, main program and you can see writer is an object under the class file writer, right. So, you have the constructor file writer and that is going to handle example.txt, right. So, true in the sense if the file exists or not, right. So, it will check. So, if in that case if the file does not exist, all right. So, then you will go to the catch try, right. So, it will throw the exception and it will go to the catch and then you have the error exception, all right. So, now assume that the file exists, okay. So, then writer will invoke write and then you are going to have appended line. So, now once you append the line and then you are closing the file. Let us quickly go to it is almost similar. Now, I can quickly go into the program because it is not very difficult once you know in C++. So, learning in Java is not very difficult. So, we will make it new appended line, all right, okay. And now, we will check the file, which file we are example.txt, we will see what it is the content, yeah. So, we have so many here with the blank space also. So, hello world, this is the example file, it includes multiple lines, punctuation and spaces, there is a blank space, there is no line. Line after a blank space, there is a big blank space and then blank line, end of file. Okay. So, now we will see how this works. This is a good example. So, now we run the code, right. Once you run the code, it is successfully executing, yes, because we do not have any output. Now, if you look at example.txt, yes, you can see the new appended line. Okay, fine. So, this is how you can append a line, right, to a file in C++ as well as Java. So, now we have seen one true, right, in line number 7 and 8, example.txt and true. So, that is indicating that the file should be opened in append mode, right. So, this is a new thing we are seeing, because in the case of writing and reading we have not seen this. So, the true is indicating that it is in the appended mode. So, now we will manipulate some mathematical cases. For example, addition of two numbers. I am giving one input file that contains 5 and 10, right, because most of you may be working with AML, you have to handle so many data and then you have to manipulate the data and get the output. Manipulation in the sense you have to write a proper algorithm and you have to get the output, right. This is what many data scientists are doing. So, now this program will be useful those for the beginners. So, what we do, we will take two integers and keep it in input.txt file, right, and then what we are going to do, we are going to multiply two integers. Let us say I am taking 20 and 30, right. So, these 20 and 30 will be multiplied and resultant will be 600, right. So, that will be stored in output.txt, right. So, you know this program, this is a simple program when you write, but when you are handling the file, I am giving input, right, .txt. So, this program, as I said, for the beginners. So, suppose you are handling, let us say, huge data, you call it as a big data, right, and you are handling with the file, you can use any language, right, and then you do the algorithm. For example, several algorithms are there in machine learning. For example, you want to use feature extraction or classification, and then you have to get the output data. So, output data you are storing in a different file, right. So, this program will be useful particularly for the beginners. So, we take two integers, put it in one input.txt file and multiply these two integers. You have to read both the numbers and we are going to do the multiplication, and after multiplication you will get the output, right. That output should be stored in output.txt. Let us see how we are going to do. So, here we are including f stream and IO stream. Number 1 and number 2, num1 and num2 are two variables, integers, alright. So, here you have a input file, right, under if stream, under the class if stream, right. So, it will handle input.txt. If input file is invoking isOpen method or isOpen member function, right. So, if it is able to open, right, input file is handling input.txt. If you are able to open, then we have stored number 1 and number 2, right. So, these number 1 and number 2 will be read, that is what line number 10, input file number 1 and number 2 will be read, and then you are closing the file, right. Input file will invoke close. So, suppose you are not able to open, it will throw the exception. So, the exception will be, right, in fact, if you are not able to open, it is not an exception, if and else, simple if and else statement. So, if you are not able to open, so C error, unable to open the file, right, unable to open the input file. So, we are continuing, result is number 1 into number 2, right, result is multiplication, right. So, now OF stream, the output file stream, we have done this, right, we are going to write it, right. So, output file is an object and off stream is the class and then it is handling output.txt. So, if output file, right, when it is invoking is open, if you are able to open, alright. So, you are writing the result, result is what, number 1 into number 2. So, then you are closing the file, otherwise if you are not able to open the file output.txt, then it will throw the error, C error, right, unable to open the output file, alright. So, then line number 14 you have one cout statement. So, this is for our information in the console. So, in the console it will tell result return to output.txt, alright. So, this information we will get the message in console, alright, and then it will also tell the result. In fact, cout you are putting the result and then endl, cursor will go to the next line. So, here even in the console you are printing what is the result, and then also we are, this is optional line number 14 is the optional line, alright. So, but when you are running the code, I mean it is always better whether it is running properly or not, right. So, that we can check. So, for that it will be useful. So, line number 14 will print result return to output.txt, and whatever result number 1 into number 2, right, that will be printed, and the next line is nothing but endl, I mean the new line. So, return 0. So, let us quickly go to the program and check this, right. So, multiplication of two numbers, slightly a big program. So, you can see that we have input.txt, line number 8 we have input.txt. So, we will see what is input.txt. We have two numbers 10 and 5, right. So, I am using two lines, first line I am writing 10, then put enter 5. So, input.txt. So, we have taken a very small data, alright. So, slowly I am talking about data, alright. So, 10 and 5, 10 in the first line, 5 in the next line, alright. So, I explained all line number 8 to 15 I explained. Now, result is nothing but number 1 into number 2. So, 10 into 5 we should get 50, and also I have talked about the output underscore CPP. So, here, so what will happen? So, we have to just go down in the program, yeah, number 1 into number 2, yeah. So, here the result return to output underscore CPP dot txt, and then the console will print result also, right. So, when we run the code, because we have seen this code, now I will run the code. Yes, when you compile and run, you can see result return to output underscore CPP dot txt. Also, you are seeing the result 50. So, one number is 10, another number is 5, 10 into 5, 50. So, here we are getting, and also we will check output underscore CPP dot txt. Now, we will open, yes, you are getting 50 here. So, now what we can do, we will run one more test case, right. Let be the 50, right, we are not disturbing this output. So, input file will give 150 or any number. Let us take the input file, let us consider 100, and here let us take 1729, fine. Yeah, hopefully it will not go out of the range. Let us save this file, execute, right. So, in fact, you can see the output 172900, and let us open now output file, output underscore CPP dot txt. So, we will get 172900, right. So, now you can handle the data, right. So, assume that this is the basic code for input file and output file. So, now you can do whatever problems you want. So, just go to slightly the advanced level, right. So, take a data of length, let us say 1000 lines, and then you are manipulating something from that data, alright. For example, I mean the whole world is talking about machine learning or deep learning, right. So, in that case, when you are getting the output from somewhere, or even the input file, when you are handling a text file or a numerical data file or image file, video file, it is a huge data, right. So, it has a numbers, and then you are manipulating like this, and you are reading the file, right, and then you are making some modifications, or you are doing some processing, and when you are getting the output, so where it is giving the output, right. So, can we analyze those output, right. So, for that, so we have introduced basic manipulation on multiplying the two numbers. I hope it is clear for everyone, right. So, this is what we have done. So, input file handling. So, input.txt we have two integers, and then you have seen those were multiplied in the program, and then output file it was stored in output.txt, right. So, we have in fact tested with two cases, and then it was working fine. So, now in the case of Java, right, in the case of Java, what you have to do? So, you have number 1, let us say 0, number 2 0, you are assigning. So, java.io.star, I put all the packages, star represent, and now you have a try block, right. So, reader object under buffered reader, this we had seen in the last class, right. So, you have a memory allocation with a constructor, and then you have a file reader, alright. So, the file reader will handle this input.txt. So, now you are taking two input from the user, alright. So, it is like in the file you are taking, so it is not like your usual one. So, here you are getting integer.parseInt, alright, and then you are reading from the line, let us say the first line 10, second line you have 5, correct. So, from the input.txt we have the two numbers. So, in case line number 8 you are not able to read that input.txt file, or if it is not getting open, right. So, then it will throw the exception. So, it will be handle from line number 12 to 13 and then you are returning it, fine. So, let us see how this works. In fact, yeah, the program is continuing, right. Result is equal to result we have already, yeah, here we are declaring, it is also int. So, num1 into num2. So, now output file again you are doing the similar thing, right. So, here you have a buffered writer, right. So, there it was buffered reader. So, here it is a buffered writer class. Under this writer is an object small w and allocating a memory, and you have a constructor buffered writer, and then file writer is handling the output.txt. So, if you can able to handle this output.txt, no problem, it will further continue. Otherwise, right. So, you have a catch exception, it will say unable to open the output file, right. Now, line number 6, writer is invoking write, alright. So, write is nothing but integer to string. In fact, the integer is invoking to string method and then result, right. So, result suppose you are multiplying 10 into 5, 50, right. So, that will be displayed, the write function will be displayed. Also, for our convenience, we are printing like exactly what we have done in C++. So, result return to output.txt will be printed along with the result, right. So, it is more or less same what we have seen in C++, right. And here the only difference is here when you are using the constructor or creating an object with a dynamic memory allocation, you have to be little careful. Otherwise, both the programs, alright, so will give you the same result. Let us quickly go to Java console and we will run the code, right. So, here you go, yeah, the same program what I have told. Only thing we will check the input file, right, input.txt, what it is there. We will run two cases, same 100 and 1729, right. So, these two numbers are there, input.txt, or we will change it because we already have output file the same result, right. So, here what we will do, first number you change to 1000, second number as it is. So, we have to get 1729 followed by 3 zeros as output. So, now rest of them I explain. Let us quickly run the code. Yes, it is running and then you can see 1729 followed by 3 zeros and what is the output file name? Let us. So, here you can see result return to output java.txt. Okay, here it is output underscore java.txt, correct, output underscore java.txt. So, if we see that output underscore java.txt, so we are getting 1729 followed by 000. I hope it is clear for everyone. So, in the case of Java also we can able to multiply, right. So, when you look at the buffered reader which is a class, right. So, here we have an object reader. So, that is able to read that input.txt, right. So, it is reading the two integers, we have given 1000 and 1729, right. And in case, right. So, this you can test. So, what you can do, I mean do not keep any input.txt in the directory and then try, you will get the IO exception. It is not very difficult, right. So, because here we are positively going what exactly will happen, and then it will parse the string. The meaning of parse the string, you have two numbers, right. So, 1000 and 1729, alright. So, that will be separated and then these will be useful, right. So, for multiplying. So, one will be number 1, another one will be number 2, right. So, that is what parse the strings, read from the file as integers. So, parsing, this is called parsing, right. So, one first line you have 1000, second line you have 1729. So, these will be parsed and then output file handling. So, the buffered writer class, so that used to write the result to output.txt. So, if you are not able to open this output.txt, then you will have the problem, right. That means there will be try throw catch, exception will be thrown. So, then it will be caught, then you can say unable to open output file, alright. So, this is how both in C++ and Java it works, alright. So, now another example, writing formatted data in C++. So, you may require some format, right. So, even when you are handling some let us say spreadsheet. So, you will put let us say the marks, student marks, and then you want do the left alignment or right alignment or in the middle, right. So, in a similar way So, we can fix. So, suppose assume that I want the value, the real value, alright. So, assume that you are entering 123.456, but I want only the precision 2, right, set precision 2. So, in that case assume that I want 123.46, right. So, these kind of formats we can easily handle both in C++ and Java. So, let us take this simple example. So, I have included F stream, file stream, and then I have included input output manipulation, IO manipulation, right, and you have a class called offstream, right, you have a class called offstream. So, offstream has the object my file, right, data.txt, alright. So, it is handling data.txt. So, if my file is invoking is open, if you are able to open, right, if you are able to open, so it is having this std fixed, right, std fixed. So, that means it is going to fix with the set precision 2, right, it is going to fix with the set precision 2, and my file will print, let us say, the value, right. So, value assume that it is 123.456. So, in that case I will get the output 123.46, right. So, I am doing the set precision 2. If you put 1, so it may be like 123.5, something like that, maybe we can try. So, then you are closing this. So, let us run this code. So, formatted.cpp explain this same 123.456 we are using. So, let us run the code. Yeah. So, data.txt we have 123.46, value 123.46. So, we are printing, right. So, we are printing. So, here you can see we have to print, my file is printing the value, value is in double quote, right. So, value is coming with the colon, and then this 123.456 it is becoming 123.46. So, if you look at line number 6, so we are using fixed, right, and then the set precision. So, set precision 2. So, let us change to, let us say, 1, set precision 1, so that you will understand better, alright. Now, we run the code, alright, it is successfully running. Now, we will see data.txt. So, data.txt if you look, see 123.5. So, it is rounding off, 456 become 123.5. I hope it is clear. So, we will see one more program, writing formatted data. So, here as I said, when you are accessing some spreadsheet, you want to have the left alignment, right alignment, or in the middle. So, in that case, right, how you are going to do. So, in the previous program we had seen fixed, alright, and then set precision. So, here you are going to see the left alignment, right, and set w is nothing but set width. So, for this you have f stream, IO manipulation, IO stream, and string. String we have used already, IO stream we have to start with. So, f stream and IO manipulation, right. So, in fact, in the previous example we used IO manipulation. In fact, I started with IO manipulation. So, that means this library is providing the functionalities for manipulating input and output format. So, you require the format, right. So, for example, I want to have the left alignment, right. So, here in this case we will see, we will take a simple example, right. So, you have output file which is handling output.txt under the class OF stream. If output file can able to open, that means it is open, assume that if it is true, then output file you have the left alignment, right, std double colon, right, or scope resolution operator left is a left alignment, and then you have set width for 20 characters, right, set width for 20 characters. So, name 20 characters and set width for 10 characters. For score you are setting the width for 10 characters, right. So, you are doing first one is alias, left set w 20 alias, right, and set w 10 95 marks, score is a 95 marks. Similarly, for Bob, right, 87, Charlie 78, alright. So, then you are closing the file. If you are not able to open the file, so then it will throw the error, it will tell unable to open output file, right. So, when we run the code, we will quickly go into Java console, right. So, here you go, alright. So, this is the program, yes, that I already explained. Suppose if we run the code, let us see what is the output we are getting, right. So, successfully running, and when you look at output.txt we are getting this, right. So, name set width is 20 characters. So, you can now change, so put it 15, put it 25, right. So, that you can play and then you can see that, and then you can see the output. I will open the output.txt, right. So, you can see that, right, score 95, 87, 78. So, here the width is 10, right. So, like this, so you can manipulate this, you can change it to 20, 25, 15, something like that, and then see the output. So, now in the last two programs we had seen the formatted one, right. So, how can you do the formatting? So, when you want to have the output data in a particular format, right. So, you might have practically done that, right. Some of the spreadsheet, as I said, keep on saying. So, suppose I want to enter certain marks or certain data. So, you keep the left alignment or right alignment, or even in the document file when you are using, you do the left alignment, right alignment, etc., right. So, same thing with the help of program. Is it possible to do that? Yes, when you are handling the file, and then I mean you have some streams, right, how to use the output file stream. So, I can put the left alignment like a left, right, previous case, fixed, set precision, right, all these inbuilt you can use, and then you can make the output the formatted one, right. So, in today's lecture we talked about the how to append the line and also the multiplication of two numbers, right, using the file, and then when you are getting the output, so can I do the formatted one, right. So, that we had seen. So, with this I am concluding this lecture. Thank you.